The historic nuclear deal signed between Iran and world powers last week will open up the Middle East country for trade and investment. The opportunities are massive. Now, the Economist Intelligence Unit says no market in the world has the same level of untapped potential. I'm joined by Finweek editor Jana Marais to discuss some of the implications for South Africa. Jana, thanks so much. We've been reading about this, seeing it on television, online. But what does this deal really mean for South Africa? And I'm sure we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it a little bit later on the panel.
Yes, I think the two broad positives for South Africa, first of all, would be what it's going to mean for the oil market. Iran has got the fourth largest oil reserves in the world, and actually they were our biggest supplier of oil. So our refineries here are very much geared to use Persian Gulf oil, and we obviously had to stop all those imports in 2012 when the sanctions came into effect. So I think a lot of guys in the oil industry are quite keen to probably restart those negotiations, and you have a bargaining chip if you have you can weigh up Saudi versus Iranian oil. So they probably will look at getting some better prices. And then, of course, for consumers just generally, once they start pushing up their production again, the impact on global oil prices and then, petrol prices here. I think for South Africa, for corporate South Africa, the big opportunity is the massive business opportunities that this could potentially hold for the country.
Talking about corporate South Africa, which would you say are the companies that are best positioned for what is currently happening in this space?
Well, I think the obvious one is, of course, MTN, because they already have quite a big operation there. And they haven't pulled out, unlike Sasol, who also had a big operation there. Sasol pulled out during the sanctions, I think mainly because they really want to build this massive infrastructure program in the US. So MTN is very well geared. They have about, I think, $1.1 billion stuck in Iran that they haven't been able to repatriate because of the sanctions. So I think shareholders might look at something like an increased dividend, some of that money coming back. And I think Moody's just recently had a report out, I think this morning, saying, going forward, it's about 2 billion rand worth of dividends we can be expecting from the Iran cell operations in the future. The other company that's also been in the news is Petro SA, of course. They have a joint venture program or project in Iran that's been very quiet. It's a GTL plan, they're planning to do a GTL project with the Norwegians and the Germans. But given their financial situation, I'm not sure how that's going to pan out. But certainly, if you're in any case, in any way in the oil and gas space, Iran is definitely a country you'll be looking at.